Hey friends, this is Cindy and Stacy back with another video. It's coming up on Thanksgiving and we are going to make some herb butter for a turkey that Stacy's going to prepare for our Thanksgiving dinner. It's been a while since we've done our last video because we've both had a lot going on in our lives. So as Stacy gets started with preparing the herb butter, we're going to just kind of give you updates on what's been going on with us.
Yeah, first off, basically this herb butter is, I'm just going to tell this and then you can update, okay?
Okay.
Oops, I'm dropping my herbs out. Basically it's just butter. And I've got sage, thyme, and rosemary that I'm going to chop up and mix into the softened butter. Done this a couple of years now, with this same combination. But I did it like right as I was getting ready to put the turkey in the oven. And I thought maybe if I did it tonight and then let it kind of sit all mixed together in the refrigerator overnight, maybe it would have even more flavor. I mean, it had good flavor anyway, but
Yeah.
just wondering if it'd be more flavorful and it'll save time tomorrow too anyway.
Right.
So, okay, I'm going to sage, rosemary, thyme, and butter.
So basically what's been going on with us is Stacy started feeling bad. It was about mid-October.
Actually,
Well,
in August.
yeah.
End of August, but I thought it was muscles in my back. But anyway, go ahead.
But she really got to where she was having some unbearable pain, and so she ended up in the ER. And her son was going to be getting married at the end of October, Michael, and he was marrying Haley. And we were all looking forward to the wedding, and get a text from Stacy telling me that she thinks she's going to be having surgery that night or in the morning the next day, which, come to find out, was she had gallstones, so she was going to have her gallbladder removed. So anyway, she stayed in the hospital for about a week, nearly, not quite a week.
Let's see, I went on Friday afternoon honestly thinking it was just some muscles in my back. It had happened late August and it finally eased up about early October. And it was kind of like got worse, then started getting better. And again, thought that, and I probably wouldn't have gone to the ER when I did if Michael's wedding hadn't been coming up. Yeah. But I was like, I can't even be at his wedding, much less be walked down the aisle, as mother of the groom and do the mother-son dance. So that's the main reason I went to the ER when I did, thinking it was just muscles and they could give me something to help relieve the pain so I could be at the wedding. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So she stayed in the hospital, kept thinking they were going to do surgery the next day for several days, and then finally I think she got out of the hospital on Tuesday?
Yes.
Tuesday. And they were scheduling outpatient surgery for Thursday, which was only going to give her like a week to recover before the wedding.
9 days.
So
from the day of the surgery to the day of the wedding.
So they had it scheduled for Friday, but they called her and told her to come on Thursday, which was good because that gave her extra day to recuperate. And
they said, first off, all they told me in the ER was that I had gallstones and I'd need to have my gallbladder out. Well, when I get to the floor, they're like, you're on sepsis protocol. And you're dehydrated. You have pancreatitis. Your white count is very elevated. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what would have happened if I had not If Michael hadn't been getting married, who knows what would have happened.
Right. Yeah. So that's a good thing. So anyway, she had her surgery and she started recuperating, and we all made it to the wedding, and she got to do her mother and son dance, and so they've been married not quite a month now, almost.
It was the wedding was October 28th.
Yeah, so about 4 or 5, well, no, more than that, 6 days, they'll be married a month. So, and they will be here for Thanksgiving. And my niece, Stacy's daughter, Crystal, and her family will be here. And then my daughter's coming up from Panama City Beach, and I'll have both my sons here, and my brother-in-law, which is my husband Brian's brother, will be coming, and my mother-in-law, and my brother-in-law Michael's whole family. Well, not his whole family, because his daughter Kaylee's not going to be able to attend this year because she's got a boyfriend that she's going to do Thanksgiving dinner with their family this year. I think they're going to, she said they would be here next year, so I assume that she's planning on doing an alternating thing with him and his family. So, anyway, we should have probably 20, 25 people here. So, and I'll get to meet my third great niece.
Yeah.
Haven't met her yet. Her name is Lainey Drew, and she is, I think she's 4 months old now. I haven't met her yet, so I'll get to meet her. So it should be a really nice time. And in the meantime, my husband Brian and I, we went on a trip, and we went to, it was the longest vacation I've ever taken.
Really?
Yeah.
You talking about time-wise or mileage-wise?
Time-wise, I've never taken over a week. I usually don't take but 2 or 3 days off from work.
Well, y'all weren't actually even gone.
Yeah, we were. We left on Thursday. We were gone almost, well, okay. That's the longest I've taken off of work. It was over a week that I took off work. So we left on a Thursday, and we drove to Knoxville, Tennessee. And then we drove over to Arlington, Virginia, and we saw the Shenandoah mountain range while we were on our way, which was pretty awesome. I did not realize that mountain range was so vast, and there was like smoke coming up. It was almost like visiting the Smoky Mountains.
Now, the Smoky Mountains are part of the Appalachians. Is the Shenandoah part of the Appalachians? And technically, I think, not far from here. Well, no, not far from here. It's Tanny Hill. And I want to say there's a sign at Tanny Hill.
It's the foothill of the Appalachians.
That's the end, basically, in Tanny Hill State Park, not far from here.
Yeah.
Is where the Appalachian ends to the south.
Yeah. So, we did that and stayed the night in Arlington, Virginia. And as we were driving into Arlington, Virginia, because we were going to go to Arlington Cemetery on Veterans Day, we decided to also go to the National Mall at Washington, D.C. We went with our best friends, a couple that named Dana and Rick, and they are very big Abraham Lincoln fans. And so, what is so funny about that?
I just never heard anybody say anybody was a big Abraham Lincoln fan. Not like big Braves fan, a big Alabama fan, big Abraham Lincoln fan. Or a big, Matthew McConaughey fan maybe, but Abraham Lincoln not so much.
So, as we were approaching Arlington, Virginia, and saw the Washington Monument, because it was like probably about 9 o'clock at night when we arrived in Arlington. And so as we were approaching and they saw the Washington Monument and realized how close we were, because we had no idea how close that was. I knew it was close, but I didn't know it was that close. So we decided that we would also go over to see the Lincoln Memorial. So the next day we got over to Arlington, and you could see across the bridge. You could, from Arlington, you could see like the National Mall area, and I mean less than a mile, and you could just like see straight to it. And so anyway, we went over to Arlington and we saw a few notable grave sites: Jackie Kennedy's gravesite, John F. Kennedy's gravesite, Ruth Bader Ginsburg's gravesite, Thurgood Marshall's gravesite, and so anyway, our ultimate goal there was to see the changing of the guard at the tomb of the unknown soldier. But because the president was coming in that day, they were not doing that until later in the afternoon. So we had actually intended on just spending the morning time at Arlington and then driving on to Gettysburg and touring the Gettysburg National Park in the afternoon. And then we were going to just get up the next morning and go to the Hershey World of Chocolate. But we ended up dropping the Hershey World of Chocolate completely.
Okay, I knew there was something you had told me that y'all ended up not doing. But
Yeah. So we did, because since our ultimate goal was for my husband Brian to see the changing of the guard, our friend Dina said, no, that's something he really was wanting to do. So she said, I think we should just spend our whole day here. And if we get to Gettysburg, good. If we don't, then we don't. And I said, well, what we can do is, because we were just going to go to Hershey as kind of like a filler thing on our way to Niagara Falls, Canada, I said, what we can do is we can go over here to the National Mall and look at, all the monuments and all over there. And so we did that. And I said, what we'll do is we'll come back to Arlington and see the change of the guard. And then we'll drive on to our hotel, which was actually in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which was 45 minutes past Gettysburg. So then we decided we would just come backwards a little bit to go back to Gettysburg on the next day. Worked out fine because we really actually needed a full day in both areas. And so we got back over, we saw the Vietnam Wall, which I saw my great uncle Benjamin Warren's name on the Vietnam Wall, and took a picture of that. And we saw the World War II monument, and I want to say the World War I monument. We saw the Lincoln Memorial, which had the Gettysburg Address on it. That was pretty cool. And we saw the Washington.
That's like Lincoln sitting in the chair, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
For a moment, it's like I went blank. I'm like, I know that, but my mind just was like.
And then the Washington.
Wait, what?
Just like the tall tower. Yeah. And the thing that I kind of wanted to see the most, and it's kind of funny, was the little pool, like at the National Mall.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Which, funny enough, I associate with Forrest Gump, the movie Forrest Gump, because I always can just remember him being there in that movie. So anyway, that was my big thing that I kind of wanted to see was that. So anyway, and while we were there, we saw the White House, and there are snipers on top of the White House. We saw the Supreme Court, and well, what we thought was the Supreme Court. Could have been the House of Representatives. We don't know. But anyway.
You can tell we're well traveled.
Anyway, there were snipers on the top of that building as well. But anyway, as we saw Marine One land. But as we were walking down the sidewalk, we saw they started blocking off the roads, and don't agree with everything politically with our president, but we did get to see him in his motorcade. They started blocking off the roads, and then there were some motorcycles and 3 limousines, and then some Hummers and vans and things. And
were they regular car stretch limousines, or were they SUV limousines?
No, they were regular car stretch limousines.
Okay,
yeah. So anyway, 4 of us were all sitting in different spots.
Hold up. Okay. I was like, my screen froze, and I was like, is it recording or not? Okay.
So the 4 of us were each standing in different spots because I was tired. My legs were hurting, so I had walked on a little ways and sat down. And my friend Dina was probably about a block down from me because she had walked a little further. Was probably about a block down from her. And then Dina's husband Rick was about a block down from Brian. Anyway, Rick had his camera and he was trying to record the moments for posterity's sake, I guess. And so anyway, we saw as they passed, I was like, I think that was the president. And Dina walked over to me and I said, I think I saw the president. And she was like, I think I did too. And then Brian walked up and I said, did you see the president? He said, I think so. So we all were sitting there discussing it, and I said, I think he was in the second limousine. And they were like, yeah, that's what we thought. And I said, no, look, I think he was on the right-hand side. They said, yeah, that's what we thought too. So we all are pretty sure we saw the president in his motorcade, which was pretty cool. And that happened to be Brian's favorite day of our vacation, I believe. Although he did like Gettysburg as well too. Maybe not quite as much as Rick did. That was what he really wanted to do. And then, so the next day we went on over to Gettysburg and we toured that. We rode a bus tour, which gave us a lot of information that we didn't really know. It was good. The bus tour was good. But we would have kind of liked to have rode in the car and kind of just did it on our own too. But some of the stuff that we heard on the bus tour when we went through the museum made sense. Oh, and they had this diorama thing. Well, they call it a cyclorama, I think is what they call it.
A what?
Cyclorama.
What does that mean?
Well, it's really a cylinder thing. I mean, it's just like a round
instead
thing.
Of a rectangular.
Yeah, it was just round. But all these, Civil War scenes painted all around it, and I think they said that it was I want to say an Italian, they actually painted it. Because I was trying to figure out if it was wallpaper or if it was painted, but they said that it was actually painted, and it took, I want to say they said 175 hours. I could be wrong on that. But anyway, also, so on the ground, they had little artifacts, which I don't think were genuine artifacts. They were just props or replicas. But they had so perfectly matched the props to the painting part. The colors and all, it just blended so well to where you almost couldn't tell where the props stopped or started and the painting stopped. So
that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. So then we went, after we left Gettysburg, we drove to Canada. and we had a situation with our hotel. And
it was an Airbnb, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. We had no information as to what our unit number was, and we had to call booking.com to find out. I hope that's okay to say. Anyway, we finally got some information that started to smell good.
Yeah, the rosemary is the most like fragrant,
Yeah.
strongest. Which the sage, now that I'm chopping into it, sage may start.
Yeah.
But the rosemary definitely is just stripping it off of the stem.
Yeah.
Really seemed potent.
Yeah. So anyway, we got to Canada about 1 o'clock in the morning, and we had this situation happen with the Airbnb, and so we were trying to find out. So we were calling, trying to figure out what our unit number was, where we could find the key, whatever. And I was so tickled that we were all just kind of tired and delirious, and so we were just cracking up. I was laughing so hard I was about to cry. But I was I had called Booking.com, and as soon as I work in customer service, as soon as the person came on the line for Booking.com, I was like, yes, this is Stina Frederick, which is not my name. It was the one who booked the room. I was like, yes, this is Stina Frederick, and we are staying at and I forget what the place was called. I said, here's our booking number. And I was just like so customer service on.
She had our customer service voice going.
And so anyway, they were trying to get in touch with the people, but, it was very late. And so finally we did get in touch with them. And we got to the room, and the sheets were dirty. There was hair in the bed, so we ended up not staying there, and we ended up having to find another place to stay, which we went to. It was our third place to go that we finally found somewhere to stay.
So you're saying y'all, in addition to the place y'all had reserved, y'all went to 2 more and then to the last one, or were you counting the one that y'all were reserved?
We went to 2 more plus the one we ended up staying in after the first place. So we got our place about 3 o'clock in the morning, but it was a really, really nice place. So
yeah, Brian had called me and told me that was he kind of gave me the story a little bit. And he said that where y'all ended up staying was like a boutique hotel. It was like an old house that had been converted.
It wasn't an old house. It was an old 100-year-old building. Okay. And it's an extended stay, but they also do hotel type things, and it was lofts is what it was, but it was really, really nice. So, but we were up at I think 7:30 or 8 the next morning to go to the Niagara Falls.
So did y'all check out?
No.
Okay.
No, because I was like, we spent 2 nights there. We spent. Okay. We left there. I want to say we left there on Tuesday. But we were going to stay one more day in Canada, but we really just went to see Niagara Falls, and we had drove around a little bit after we saw Niagara Falls, and we found this really cool bridge, and it was a very picturesque place. And then we also found a lighthouse, but the other things I had planned were 2 to 3 hours away, because we were thinking about going to a castle there. We were thinking about going to a winery, but and then there was a really cool beach area that had a really iconic sign place called Sauble Beach. It says "Welcome to Sauble Beach," but it's kind of almost like a "Welcome to Las Vegas." Remember how Panama City used to have big iron sign or whatever. But anyway, it was really cool. But anyway, we decided not to go to any of those. And we just decided to go ahead and head back on Tuesday. And we were riding along, and Dana that night, because we were trying to figure out what we were going to do the next day. And Dana was like, and I was already thinking it too. And Dana said, how do y'all feel about A Christmas Story? And I said, are you going to tell us what? But what she was meaning was she had found, she said, well, why don't we just leave tomorrow and head back? And she said, I have found in Cleveland, Ohio, that the house where they filmed A Christmas Story.
Now, was it that house where they actually filmed it, or was
Yes.
it a replica built after the fact? Okay.
It was the house.
I know.
They filmed it there and in Canada, actually.
These are all the herbs kind of roughly chopped. I'm going to put them in here, this little bowl, and start mixing the butter in with it. And this goes under the skin of the turkey. All right. Okay, you keep talking.
So we went there, and it was cool. And there's some things that they told us when we took the tour that are mistakes that happened in the movie that we've got to watch it now to see if we can pick them out. What are you looking for?
I was just trying to find what utensil I wanted.
So, I'm sorry, y'all. It's getting kind of late here. So anyway, we toured that, and then we were gonna make a stop at a distillery in Kentucky. So we drove straight through to Kentucky, and we spent the night in Kentucky, and we went over to the distillery, and we needed to have a reservation, but we didn't know. So we didn't get to tour it, but we did look at the gift shop, and they had some really nice things there. So anyway, but I will say that on our way back from Canada, just over the border on the U.S. side, was Buffalo, New York. And we stopped at a place to eat. And
Buffalo Wild Wings?
No. It was a breakfast place. Well, it wasn't just a breakfast place. Well, it might have been, because it said it was something yolk. And I forget what it is. I took a picture of it, but I don't have my phone with me. So, but it was something yolk. But it was catty corner from the Buffalo Bill Stadium.
Oh, okay.
But we were like, why didn't it be bigger than that? But it really didn't look
Yeah,
like
I don't think NFL stadiums are as big as a lot of the college ones.
So, but anyway, that was my favorite breakfast. I ordered corned beef hash, and this is like not canned corned beef. This is legit slow cooked corned beef over what they call home fries, which is just cubed up potatoes with a fried egg over it. But it was my favorite breakfast of the whole trip. It was so good. I could have ate a whole nother plate of it. And Dina ordered pancakes there, and the pancakes were this big as a small pizza. They were huge. So,
were they yellow inside?
I don't think so.
Because when we get Chattanooga, we went with Crystal and Dion and the girls, and I think it was Chattanooga we went to. I want to say it's called City Diner or something like that, and there's like 2 locations, and one of them's like connected to one of the hotels downtown. But anyway, we went and we weren't staying there, but we went and ate breakfast there, or we had dinner there. But me and Crystal both got their pancakes, and they were that big. but they were yellow inside instead of like white or creamy, looking. And we were like, these pancakes are so good. These pancakes are so good. These pancakes are so good. And then finally, like,
made that cake better.
That's what we decided they must have been. I mean, it wasn't like that while we were there, but they were good enough that we were still talking about them.
Yeah.
Later, and so we did. I can't remember, and I looked up, and that you can find recipes online how to make pancakes out of cake mix.
Yeah.
But you gotta think a pancake. It's a pancake.
Yes.
So it's like it stands to reason you should be. I mean, I don't know how pancakes came to be, but
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it was really good. And we ate good that whole trip.
Well, yeah. I remember it was when me and Kimmy and Crystal and Michael and Trace and Tristan were going to go to. It was the year of the oil rig thing.
The Valdez.
No. That was paid for. This was the one in the Gulf, the Blue Horizon, whatever. The oil rig that. I don't remember it. It was in the Gulf of Mexico.
I still don't remember it.
Okay, let's see. It was probably 2010 or 2011. Maybe 2010. I don't remember. Anyway, it was that year because all the beaches, we were.
I was having grandkids then. I probably wasn't paying much attention.
Well.
Yeah, I had one every year practically.
For a little while there, you did. But anyway, we had planned before the oil. It was an oil rig explosion. But anyway, before that, we had already planned that we were going to go to Gulf Shores. And so we had not booked anywhere yet, but when the oil rig thing happened, and I mean, you remember I'm talking about tar balls washing up on the beach and tar on the beach. Okay, well, I think there's a documentary about it on Netflix or something you might want to check out. But anyway, we considered changing our plans and going to Myrtle Beach or somewhere on the Atlantic coast. But anyway, we lucked out. We found this place. These owners that had actually 2 condos, and they were one right on top of the other. So we could get. Cammy got one. I got one, and I'm not sure where I was going with this.
We were talking about eating good.
Yeah. Okay, because there's a point. That was what I was going about. Anyway, as we were talking about it, our vacation, me and Cammy, she was like, well, what are we going to eat? What do you mean? And she said, well, are we going to cook? I said, no, we will not cook. We will go out to eat.
Yeah.
I said, I usually like to go out to eat for dinner, like at the beach, but in the morning, I have powdered donuts or Pop-Tarts for breakfast before I go out on the beach. And then I have a sandwich in my condo at lunchtime before I go back to the beach, before I come in and get ready. She said, well, I've never gone on vacation and not cooked. I said, then you've never gone on a vacation. You've just had a change of scenery.
Dana has a rule that you don't eat anywhere that you could eat at home.
Well, I mean, and I kind of get that. And people talk about why is there even a Captain D's at the beach?
Yeah, that is crazy. I didn't know there was.
Yeah, there is. But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean,
Maddie, she wanted to go to a Mexican place today for her birthday down there at the beach.
Oh. Well, but that's not a Mexican place she can eat at here.
True.
Okay, I'm not sure I got these herbs chopped as finely as I did last year, but since we're going to put it in the refrigerator and let them kind of marinate together, overnight, it may not make as big a difference. I mean, I got them chopped fairly well, but not as finely as I normally do. But yeah, this is, to me, the way I've been doing it. I've been using this herb combination, but I only started doing the butter 2 or 3 years ago, and I think it was then also that, like the first year I used it, I didn't put the butter under the turkey skin.
Yeah.
But the last few years I have, and it just makes the turkey so moist and so flavorful. And I'll tell you, I mean, I know people that talk about, okay, you just put butter on the outside, and that's fine. But I always, what made me decide to put it under the skin, and since then I have heard of other people doing it, but I had not when I had the idea. I was like, well, how's it getting through the skin? How's the flavor in the butter getting through the skin?
Yeah.
So I just decided to lift the skin away, shove this stuff between the skin and the meat, and then kind of stretch the skin back in place. And it's like it bastes itself. You don't have to baste it.
Yeah.
But no matter a lot of turkeys nowadays, the way they're processed or whatever, you don't really hear people necessarily having to baste them anymore, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think they're all pre-brined nowadays, pretty much. I mean, there may be some brands that don't, but anyway. But our butter is prepared. All I did was soften the butter, strip the herbs off their stems. These were like fresh herbs I got at the store, come in these smaller packages. Now, last year, one of our fresh herbs, the sage, was actually from a plant that we had at the house, but it has, I don't know what happened to it, but it disappeared. Anybody just ready to go in the refrigerator to soak up flavors and hopefully be really tasty by the time we cook the turkey and have it for Thursday.
You started to say Easter, didn't you?
I said for eating.
Oh, I thought you started
But no, I'm not. But this is Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I know.
This is actually Thanksgiving.
The reason she's saying that is because when I talk about a different holiday, any kind of holiday, I usually say Thanksgiving. Like if it's Easter, I say Thanksgiving. If it's Christmas, I say Thanksgiving. Valentine's Day, I say Thanksgiving.
So that's now a running joke that there's Thanksgiving and there's not Thanksgiving. So this is actual Thanksgiving. So
probably because I like the fall so much.
Yeah. Well, and I like the Thanksgiving food.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. So between now and when we have our dinner on Thursday, we'll bake the turkey. I'll make the dressing.
Yeah.
You'll make mashed potato casserole. I'll make banana pudding. And either me or my new daughter-in-law, Haley, will be making homemade baked macaroni and cheese.
Yep.
And I may, just time and energy permitting, I might make some gravy. Because I got a lot of good drippings.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you, I pre-did my chicken. Normally I bring chicken pieces here to boil and get my broth, to make my broth for the dressing. But I just like, oh my gosh, that's just so much extra time, and which I'll still have to warm it up because it just won't go in good cold. But still, this is the time to save. And I ended up, I put it in, and the only reason I did it in the crock pot was because it held more liquid
Yeah.
than saucepan. Usually I do it in the saucepan. I cooked it in the crock pot for 24 hours.
Oh my.
That broth was so dark.
Mm.
So hopefully that's going to be extra flavorful since it got to pull all that flavor out.
Yeah.
But I put the broth. I did that one day last week. And I put the broth and the chicken that I pulled off the bones in Ziploc bags and froze it until today when I took it out and brought down here. So it's in your refrigerator thawing, by the way.
Okay.
I pre-made my cornbread and froze it, so it's thawing. It may be thawed now, but it's fine sitting out at this point. So I did some extra pre-prep to save a little time, which I usually do the cornbread early.
Yeah.
So is there anything else we're gonna make? I mean, I know we're gonna have other things that other people are gonna be bringing, but
I mean, we'll have green bean casserole, corn rolls, Sister Schubert's, peanut butter pies, cheesecake, and pudding. You said you were gonna bring. I think that's all. Cranberry sauce. Yeah. Oh, and a ham.
I think you said that. You may not have, but I thought you did. I thought you said it before you said green bean casserole, since that's what Lauren's making.
I don't think so, but maybe I do.
Anyway, probably we'll do another little video just as we're preparing the turkey, just so people can see what we're talking about. I mean, it may be self-explanatory, but like I said, I never thought to do it until I did it.
Yeah.
I mean, I never heard of anybody doing it. It just came to me. And probably do a video of the dressing. Maybe the dad didn't. Yeah. I don't know. So few people do it the way I did.
Yeah.
Most everybody uses instant pudding.
Oh, true. Yeah.
And then the cool up on top instead of the cooked, the homemade cooked pudding, from scratch, and then the meringue on top.
Yeah.
So maybe that. Let's see.
Yep.
How much time we have? Anyway, that sounds good for now. We've updated.
Yes.
We've got our butter ready.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.